Hello, listeners. This is Lee Price.
This is Will Ford from Football 365.
And you're listening smartly to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast, although I would describe it as the Chelsea FC podcast.
Magical from Eden Hazard. Kai Havertz in the Champions League final. Ivanovic! In the middle, it's just behind him. But it's tapped in by Hakim Ziyech. Matic with the ball driver. Matic takes the net off.
It's time for another episode of At the Bridge Pod, your number one Chelsea FC podcast. Coming up on this episode...
Oh dear. We're going to have more losers than winners again. Oh, welcome back everyone to another episode of At the Bridge Pod. Joined in a virtual room filled with some lions. I've got Ollie, I've got Berth. It's the Friday show. And welcome to the question. What are you guys most looking forward to this weekend?
I'll tell you what, I'll jump straight in there. Tomorrow, it's so my birthday is Monday, but tomorrow is my 30th birthday party.
Wow.
Throwing a party. I'm really old. I'm in maybe the prime of my life. I don't think I am personally because I feel like a 50-year-old, but
your pace has dropped
tomorrow. Yeah. I can't do what I used to do, but you know, I'm aging like a fine wine, or as my girlfriend says, aging like a fine cheese. So,
is that? Yeah, I'm not going to comment.
Does the smell match as well?
I was thinking, what?
Well, maybe.
I'm actually also looking forward to your birthday party.
It's going to be fun. It's good. Yeah. If I agree with everyone, there'll be some listeners going, "Come on, give it, press it."
Come on, where is it?
NFL wildcard weekend. You got Browns at Texans, Dolphins at Chiefs, Steelers at Bills. There's many more. It's going to be a wild ride. It's very snowy in Buffalo as well, I've seen. I was like, ooh, will it go ahead? Probably. I don't know other than that. Meant to be minus 30 in Kansas City for their game.
Wow. Is that just a bit too much?
I think I don't know. It'll probably go ahead. I haven't seen anything about it not going ahead.
Because I feel like minus 30 is really cold. I mean, I'm not an expert. But it feels cold.
I think anything after minus 10, you can't really tell the difference. It's just really cold at that point, surely.
It's meant to be one of the coldest games in history. And it's a minus 30 to us, but it's like minus 5 Fahrenheit. So, yeah, it's very, very bloody cold. With that, we're going to hit some news. It's that time of the week. We're going to check out the news that you may have missed in the elevator of Chelsea news. Chelsea will play Aston Villa in the fourth round of the FA Cup. Chelsea have sent scouts to watch 25-year-old Greek striker Vangelis Pavlidis in recent weeks. Ian Maatsen has signed a new deal at Chelsea and joined Borussia Dortmund. Chelsea hope that the 6 months of more regular football in Germany for Maatsen will increase his value ahead of a permanent sale in the summer. And finally, I got nothing. I got nothing because I saw something about Evan Ferguson and I just cried. A British world record fee, apparently, if we make him. I just
right. Listen, I'm gonna allay everyone's fears right now. Right, everyone, listen to Uncle Ollie. Right, it's for me. What that news is it's Brighton putting out a club brief and using our name to drum up interest in Ferguson. And to sort of give an idea of the price range for other teams as well, like, because it's not out of the question that we would necessarily be interested, which is why this is plausible in the first place. But it seems to me like we kind of dropped our interest in Ferguson a little bit. We seem focus on some other players instead, especially up front. Osimhen seems to be the number one priority at the moment. So I don't know. I think for me, I don't think it's not that we're not necessarily interested in Ferguson, but I think this is more on Brighton's side than ours.
What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with Ali, to be fair. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Evan Ferguson's a fantastic player. I think 100 million is
a joke.
It just feels like, yeah, it is a joke. It just feels like Chelsea are almost a bit of a scapegoat at the minute. I saw Evan Ferguson being compared to Nicholas Jackson. I think TalkSport posted an article. And
is that a compliment?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. This is what I got annoyed at, actually, because TalkSport and Sky Sports and all these have been slagging off Nicholas Jackson, this and that. Oh, Chelsea needs a striker, this and that. Now, obviously, it's been part of that we're interested in Evan Ferguson and he's got this price tag, which is fair enough, whatever. It is what it is. But then people are saying, do they need a striker? They've got Nicholas Jackson, he scored 7 goals this season in the Prem. Yeah, he has. So what are you slagging him off for? It's like, it's almost as if
Yeah, that's fair.
you're sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't. If
Yeah,
you're
it's almost
in for a
as
striker.
if Jackson's not as bad as we think. And I'm sure we'll get into how much we mix. I'm sure we'll get into how much we miss Jackson shortly.
Yeah, I mean, I just quickly saw from Fabrizio that we are working on a deal for Esteval Willian, about 60 million. His release clauses. I'm not happy about that either because we need to be signing veterans, not wonder kids again. But
you don't want to sign Messinho?
Oh, can we stop? No, I don't.
Is another one. Oh my god, just let it end, man. Honestly.
I mean. Some quick fire pieces from the news that I saw was Victor Osimhen has a £103 million release clause, and our owners are willing to spend big this month to stop the slide that we're on. My only take on that was I saw some people comment, I cannot see any move happening in January because, first of all, Victor's participating in the African Cup of Nations, and that's pretty straightforward. There he is, a deal maybe similar to what we saw with Nkunku join last year could be in the works, but even then, I can't see that. I mean,
what do you mean? Where he signs for us and then he doesn't play? He plays like 20 minutes for us.
No, that'd be a fact. I mean, funny you said. I mean, based on our form in front of goal, I mean, I wouldn't turn down a move for Osimhen. Of course, I wouldn't. And Jackson could maybe be the backup or play on the left or the right, because he's quite good on the wing. And there's always a but. If I look at Osimhen's negatives, because I feel like we always sort of hype up a player and their positives, but we almost ignore, the negatives. You've got the attitude. It's been a bit iffy, considering we're told.
You don't need that in a striker, though. Do you just striker not need to be a bit like that?
If we throw that out and go, we don't need to worry. What about injuries? That's a bit of a red flag.
Yeah, that one is a question. And translating from Serie A to the Premier League as well. Like, I know it's a good league and everything, but I do worry that he won't get the same amount of space for chances that he does in Serie A, and that is a concern. Like, if he gets frustrated, then what happens? Like, I don't know.
It's a worry because if you look at his stats beyond goals, it's not a slam dunk. We have to sort of remember Negredo, Soldado, also Werner. They all came in with their big goal-scoring records.
I think you'll find Soldado is better than R9.
Yeah, well, we found that out, didn't we? We did find that out. We did find that out. Listeners, go back
statistically
last
in
two
La Liga,
episodes. Yeah,
better goal scorer than R9.
I mean, in the top, those were top 5 European leagues, and the Premier League wasn't exactly a walk in the park for him. I mean, that's going to be ironic if Werner comes and scores 10 this season. That'd be hilarious. But hey, good luck to him and all. But the other thing was Poch's future. We're told that it's not in doubt because Chelsea are in European contention. Looking at that situation.
Yeah, that seems like a weird thing to say because what happens if we're not?
It's starting to feel to me like there's a good chance Poch might be handed the P45 at the end of the season. Even if we somehow turn things around against Middlesbrough, you're going up against Liverpool likely in the final. I feel based on form and just looking at us, it's a slim chance we beat that team, being realistic. And go on, Berth.
The thing is, though, right, this is going to sound utterly ridiculous what I'm about to say, but hear me out. We will create and have far more chances against Liverpool than we will against Middlesbrough.
I can't even disagree with you, but I hate that I can't.
Because, and I'll tell you why, right? Obviously, there's a massive golfing class between Middlesbrough and Liverpool. No offence to Middlesbrough, but it's true. Liverpool.
All the offence was there.
Liverpool are a world-class team, obviously. Middlesbrough are a very good side, don't get me wrong, but Middlesbrough will sit back against us. They'll make it hard for us. They will. Liverpool will play high line whoever they play against. We will get in behind against Liverpool. We've seen it all season. If we get to that final, we will get chances and we'll get a lot of chances because Liverpool will not play any differently and we will be able to get... I watched them against Fulham the other day and Fulham got at them and they were really good. I thought Fulham deserved to win, actually. The only problem is Liverpool are absolutely ruthless in front of goal. We're not. So that's where the golfing class will come from. But I stand by that. We will get more chances. If we get to the final against Liverpool than we will against Middlesbrough.
I look at the league qualification here. I mean, that's kind of like trying to find a needle in a haystack. The recent results we've had some people might go, oh, things are looking up. But if we're real, the performances have been lacking. and our consistency is like a roller coaster. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's back down. It's tough, and I'm not sure the powers that they are going to see enough to keep the faith post the season if we're out. I mean, the part about the article as well that really annoyed me was the line, while the Conference League, the lowest ranking of the European competitions, is not a financial incentive, it would at least offer a tangible example of progress from last season's 12th place finish.
Do you know what? I think it actually is important for us to, even if we got Conference or Europa, I would be really pleased with that, because it gives our young squad a chance with European football before chucking them in with like the Real Madrids of the world.
Is that the new standard? Like we're
maybe when 12th was last season.
I
maybe
know,
it
but
is.
last season our circumstances were worse. You know, we had obviously the aftermath of the takeover. You had all those changes in the roles. You know, the ownership were a bit like, trying to navigate a ship in a storm without a compass.
I just want Euro.
The problem is though, the problem we've got is right, and I've thought about this all week pretty much. I just don't know what the solution is, and that in itself is the major problem.
I don't think they do. I mean,
really, the problem is there's a problem,
knows.
Buff.
That's the thing. The thing is that normally you'd say, well, it's Pochettino's fault. I don't think sacking Pochettino would solve anything. I don't think getting rid of Burnley or whatever would solve anything. I don't think getting rid of certain players would solve anything. I think it's almost just ingrained in us now that this is what it is for the time being, until we've got such a young team as well that we're bound to be inconsistent. But I just don't know what the solution is, and that is such a big problem. And it's I don't know what's going to happen. I do think if we don't get Europe, I think Poch will be gone.
Yeah, I mean, on that, the match report this week, it was sponsored by our expectations for you were low, but holy fuck. I mean, Borough won 1-0. If you found a winner, you're a legend.
I've got a spoiler alert for you. I've got no winners.
I actually have one winner.
I'm going
to refuse to talk actually about winners.
I've got two. But
that is an absolute miracle. You've got.
You'll see why. But who was your winner? Even
my first and only winner is Middlesbrough, because they executed their game plan properly. It worked for them, and they took their chances against us, and now they've got all of the hope and all of the chance for going into the second leg. And yeah, it's going to be a tough uphill battle now.
Yeah, my first winner was Nicholas Jackson, because he's been gone for 2 games, and we're already looking at the calendar, wondering when's he back. We did warn you. We warned you.
People celebrated when he left. I said, wait until he's at AFCON. Yeah. Wait and see, and we'll see how people react. And already people want him back.
And my other winner, which is the more important winner of this, is the fans who travelled, because the travelling away support, they're the heartbeat of any club. You know, you've got they're the backbone, because they think about this. They travelled up to Teesside on a freezing cold Tuesday night in January. That's not a holiday.
200-mile round trip or so, I think.
Yeah, it's extraordinary, and we all should be giving them a standing ovation. And they probably had, like us, low expectations going into this, but they still went. They were vocal, and they did show their displeasure towards the players at the full-time whistle. Even though Poch strongly he thinks it was towards Middlesbrough. I'm like, I can't believe you said that. First of all, I saw that in the press conference today. I can't believe that's insulting. That is insulting, because we all know what they were reacting to, and it wasn't other fans. It wasn't.
No.
And look, they showed their displeasure, didn't they, towards the players at the full-time whistle. There was the passion, the raw emotion, and hats off to those away supporters, because they're the MVPs. They really are. I still can't get over that Poch comment today. I still can't. And I can see why people were livid on social. For once, I must admit, the social media reaction was actually correct. It was like, did you really just say that? Wow.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan either, for what it's worth.
Yeah. So we've had winners. Probably the quickest we've ever had. Wow. Well done, everyone.
Fair, if Chris was here, we'd be here a little while longer, I think.
I don't think we would on winners. I don't think Chris would have anything right now.
No, that's true. Yeah. So for winners, maybe not.
I mean, we had winners for this game. What would you say, Chris?
It annoys me, you know.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a very fair comment. It fair.
It's like he's still here.
losers. This is going to be hilarious.
I've got 11. I've got 11 of them. So strap in.
No.
I've got 3 losers. I limited
3.
myself to 3.
But
I've got 3 right, but I'm just gonna.
Is
I've
one of
got
them
11.
the entire 11?
I've got 11, but I'm gonna do like a random generator and pick
Oh.
3 names out. I'm not.
like
I'm
that.
just. I kind of know what I'm going for, but I'm gonna go random.
right. Before Berth does his random, I will jump my first one. This is great. I've got the entire game. I don't think an entire game has ever made a run at being awarded a loser award all on its own. But this just lined up because it was hilariously bad. You know, we couldn't beat Middlesbrough after they lost 2 players in 20 minutes due to injury. They're playing their backup goalkeeper, and yet
They had 12 players out, same as us.
I mean,
and then they lost 2 more.
The thing is, I've watched this same game 50 times in the last 2 years. You know, we had no clue how to play against a low block. It's almost like we've never played against one ever. And we were holding the ball for 5 seconds before the players can make their mind up. What an absolute bloody frustrating game to watch. I didn't at any point think we could score it. We might equal. I didn't think as soon as they scored, went 1-0 up, I just went, that's game done. How annoying is that? That was my outlook. It should never be. And it was.
And that's the reaction a lot. Like,
yeah.
I personally turned the game off after an hour. And I know. I was that livid. I turned the game off after an hour, and I turned to my fiance and I said, "We're not going to score, so it won't matter." And I was proven dead right. I was like, "Look, I'll leave half an hour left in the game, and nothing will happen." And it didn't. I went back and watched the highlights afterwards.
Highlights. What? Go on, Berth. What was who was a loser?
Who's your first random?
I'll tell you what. You know what? This one isn't random. I was so angry with. I was an angry man the other day. I'll tell you that.
It's one of the most frustrated I think I've seen you recently at Chelsea.
Yeah. And normally I'm quite positive, but my God, I've been angry this week. I'm going to go for Levi Colwell. As the aura of Van Dijk, but the execution of a brick. He is absolutely, honestly, I'm sick of people saying he's playing out of position.
He is.
He's played plenty of times at left back. He's played more than enough times and been good at left back enough times to do a job there against Middlesbrough at left back. Every time he got the ball, I mean, his first touch, tried to head it back to Thiago Silva. He headed it straight to their player, and they should have done better with it.
Yeah,
but the amount of times he gets the ball, he'll hold on to the ball, then pass it and misplace the pass. He is a centre back. I was totally with that. A very good defender. Don't get me wrong, but I'm getting so frustrated with him because he's got all the talent and he's just not proving anything to me at the minute. He makes far too many mistakes for me. The ball at his feet, I don't think he's very good. I think he's out of position a lot at left back. Maybe we're better at centre back, but at left back, at times he got caught out with a long ball over the top. It was really, really frustrating me. And I know he's young, and you can argue he's playing out of position, this and that. I'm sorry, he played.
You've got to be doing.
Brian was really good.
You've got to be doing better though. Like,
it has to be.
There's no excuses against Middlesbrough. It doesn't matter. Like, he could have played up front, and there'd be no excuses against Middlesbrough.
Like, he's not new to this position, so stop giving him the excuse that he's been played out of the position. It really it annoys me, It annoys me, and it's just he has to be there because I thought he was just an absolute calamity. He weren't the only one against Middlesbrough. I'll get onto it next, but I just thought he was the one that really, really stood out because he fucking annoyed me.
I think he's played. According to Transfermarkt, he's played 22 times at left back. And ironically, I know, but the majority of them have been all for us. He never played there for Brighton, apart from, I think...
I thought he did. I thought he did play.
It says here, once for Brighton against Leeds for 11 minutes.
Mm.
I mean, this is the
but what thing. 11 minutes?
It's he shouldn't be put there, and that's. I mean, I understand where you're coming from.
Who else do you put there? Then
I think you have to change formation and do a 3-4-3.
3 at the back. Well, I've been calling for quite literally months.
But
you go for 3 at the back.
But then you play wing back, left wing back.
Well,
Mudryk.
You'd have no choice.
Can't play, I don't think you can play Mudryk at wing back.
No,
I don't see why not. People claim that he doesn't have defensive, like he doesn't get back defensively, but he does.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's different. It is different, I think.
It is, but like if you're going to put anyone there, like I would rather him be out of position than Colwell.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
Ollie, who's a loser?
Pochettino.
Yeah, he's not mine. Yeah,
I know I say Pochettino every time we lose, and actually, it's probably not for what you expect. Because I know I'm the first to dive on Pochettino quite a lot on this show sometimes. But actually, I thought he wasn't the reason we lost the game against Middlesbrough. I know his selection was maybe a little strange, his tactics maybe a little odd, but we had more than enough to get over the line against Middlesbrough, and the players let us down, in my opinion. But the reason that Poch is a loser is because he came out after the game and said it was a good performance. It wasn't. It just absolutely wasn't.
That was shocking.
In the press conference after the game, and I was like, "How could you possibly say that? We've just been basically battered and bruised, more or less, and smash and grab by Middlesbrough, who had a really good game in their own right. Let's not get away from that. But we had more than enough to do, to win the game, and we missed so many chances and played so poorly. Like if we were having a good game, we would have won that game 4-0, 5-0 easily. But the fact that we had a game where we struggled so much, and then for Pochettino to come out and say afterwards that it was a good performance and he was happy with it, I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
I mean, the reason he was a loser on mine is because he got outplayed by Carrick. It's plain and simple. Middlesbrough saw our weak spots, they exploited them. Poch did nothing to shake things up, and their game plan was defend centrally, capitalise on our midfield disarray, and then play it long past Berth's loser Colwell. And obviously we had in defence Disassi and Silva, and it worked. I mean, what frustrated me though was Poch, did he change our setup to counter that attack? No. I mean, our attack, let's look at the other end of the field. I mean, our attacking game was poor. We had, from memory, one legit chance, and that was Palmer squeezing a shot through, a needle's eye between two players.
Palmer had a really, really close chance.
Yeah, he had two absolutely.
Oh, was it two?
He had at least two dead certs and one half chance, I think.
I mean, the rest of our chances from that game, it was just Borough messing up and us scooping up the leftovers like, a dog under the table on Christmas Day. Come on. Well, I mean, this is, there's a division between us, and it made me think, would we survive? Would we get top two in the Championship? Not based on that performance.
No, we get relegated from the
In all fairness, though, the Championship is a fantastic league. I would never let anyone.
It's very competitive.
I love watching
very
the Championship.
Good. Very
I
good
think
league,
Championship. I would put the Championship in top 5 leagues in Europe.
You see, I wouldn't go that far, but it is a very good league.
I would.
UEFA don't like that. I mean, defensively, midfield, final third, we just look like we were wandering in the dark. It's annoyingly though.
And do you think that's ultimately down to Poch?
He didn't help. He should.
No, you're not wrong.
I mean, it's just about though what you'd expect from Chelsea in the last 2 years, and you just said, to come out in the post game presser and say, "Oh, Chelsea were the better side, just didn't score." You got to wake up, man. I mean, that's a flat out lie.
That's an okay thing to say if you have a decent performance against like Liverpool, right? I get it. Yeah. I don't love it, but I get it. Against someone like Middlesbrough, where you've basically had the game, not stolen out from under you, really. Like they kind of beat us fair and square. Like, it's just an unforgivable thing.
It's a flat out. It's a flat out lie. He's telling himself there. I mean, this is a big challenge for him because, okay, let's just say it goes south and obviously he gets fired. Where does he go next? Because it's going to be, I mean, you could argue and say, oh, well, Potter couldn't do it, he's looking out. It doesn't matter. People will remember his last job and they'll go, Pochettino's last job, Chelsea, he didn't do a very good job there. And yeah, other than obviously at PSG, which, Chris will say, you always win trophies there. He hasn't been able to achieve anything, and his next career move might be a step down. It could be with us in the Championship. But, it could be. Chris, who's your second loser?
It's Berth.
Well, technically, Chris is.
Oh, sorry, Berth. Sorry, Berth.
Not every Chris is a Berth, but every Berth is a Chris.
Yeah, exactly.
My head's just frazzled by that comment. I don't know what you just said, but anyway. What one of these clowns am I going to pick next? I'm going to go for Madueke. Yeah,
your man, Mikey.
Wow.
He might be your man, but let me tell you this: he cannot control a ball. I have seen some players have a rubbish touch, but my God, his touch against Middlesbrough is up there for the worst touches I've ever seen in my life. He couldn't control anything. Oh, every single time a pass got played to him, shit touch, out of play, shit touch. He had to win the ball back. And then when he got the ball, when he got it into control, he didn't do anything with it. And I like Madueke. I think he's a talented player, but my God, he was so poor against Middlesbrough. We needed him to pull through, and when you're trying to prove something to the manager to keep playing him, he just didn't prove. He didn't prove he was good enough with that performance. Like I said, the touches and the decisions he made were really bad.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
after his relatively good form recently, he's done himself no favors. Let's put it that way.
That's what I mean, and like that, it's going to do no favors for Pochettino. He's going to see that performance and think, I can't trust you. I can't trust you, and this is why you don't play week in, week out. So yeah, he's going to have to be a loser for me.
What about you, Ollie?
Cole Palmer. Sounds harsh, but you know what? Actually, we give him a lot of praise on this show. So we need to call him out and give him criticism where it's fair to. And he was really poor. I get he was playing out of position, playing as the striker. I totally understand that. But for me, he didn't use his frame well enough. He didn't really have the striker's instincts. Maybe that is on Pochettino partially for playing him there. But despite that, he did get himself in some good positions, and that same sort of like ice in his veins just wasn't there. And I don't know if it was pressure or tactics or what, but for whatever reason, he just could not finish in the same way that he was confidently just a couple games ago. I hope it's just a blip for him, like an uncharacteristically poor game finishing wise from him, but I don't want to see that kind of finishing again. He really needed to concentrate a bit more, switch on a bit more, pick his places a bit more, and we probably would have just about gone through that game without losing.
I mean, he is our player of the season so far, so actually you could argue that Thiago Silva's there now, but
I think it's still Palmer.
I think it's Palmer, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. My final loser was just Chelsea's progress under Clearlake. I mean, we're 2 years deep into the ownership. We've spent over $1 billion. We keep being told this. Here we are, probably thinking a draw against an injury-hit Borough in the Championship ain't the worst outcome. That, my friends, is a clear sign of where this club stands. And I know I've been talking about these standards. Look, when you settle for less, you just creating a new norm, and our new norm is just do your best. I mean, it's frustrating because with the cash that we've spent and the players that we've got, it's just not acceptable for me. I mean, we should be aiming higher, and yet no. Apart from Silva, I want to credit that here. No one else seems to be really holding anyone else accountable, and maybe it's not even the players. Maybe it's just higher up decision making, which we might touch on later in questions, just tease. But we haven't progressed in 2 years. We've gone backward by miles.
It does feel that way, doesn't it?
You know what, though? I think we are a bit better than last year. Last year, I didn't see us winning a game last year. I think we are a bit better than last year.
I think last year we were quite literally like irredeemable, but this season it's like marginally better.
Yeah. It's still not great though.
No,
it's not great.
No, we're not happy by it by any means.
No,
but it is an improvement in the same way that, like, I don't know, if you
stub your toe.
If you stub your toe and then you stub your toe slightly less hard the next time.
No, I'll tell you what it's like. It's a perfect analogy, right? Imagine you got a cold with a headache. You get the headache's gone, but you still got a blocked nose. That's what this is like. You've got a blocked nose.
So who's your final loser, Ollie?
It was actually one of your winners, Mikey. Chelsea fans.
I can see why you're going to pick him.
Do you know what? I just feel really bad for the travelling supporters. Especially them. 200-mile round trip to watch that utter shit. It was such a terrible performance. And like you say, Teesside, really cold January winter game. For me, the players have got to be showing more than that, and the fans almost are doubly been shit on by the players, not just for the performance, but as well, they didn't go over, and I think only 4 players in the end, and Thiago Silva had to drag them over.
Silva, and oh god,
and one other, I can't remember.
Gilchrist, Silva.
The point is, only four players went over to clap the fans off on that 200-mile round trip. It's like, can you even be bothered? That I was so disappointed by that, and the Chelsea fans who went to the game and who watched that
Colwill.
They all deserve better.
I've just quickly done a Google search. It was Colwill. So there was Broja, Colwill, Gilchrist, and Silva. Who's your final losers, Berth?
Again, I could pick literally all of them, to be honest with you. I'm gonna go with Broja though. I say it week in, week out, but he's not good enough at all. And when you need a striker to come on and change a game, you look at the 6'3" lad that's on the bench, get him in there, get him in the mixer, and he just is so ineffective. It's unbelievable. I don't know if it's...
What bothers me about Broja is he seems so tall and physical, but he really struggles.
He doesn't show it
back
yet.
To goal.
He's he can't hold the ball up. I don't think he's great in the air.
He doesn't show for it very well.
In a way, we're spoiled because we had Giroud for so long. He was the perfect target man. I think he's probably the best target man that's ever played the game in a way. And you look at someone like Broja, he can't do it. He's not a great finisher. He doesn't use his physical presence. He's lost a yard of pace due to his injury. I think his decision making is poor.
Yeah, you're right. Especially when in his positioning and stuff. Like so often when he does play, he runs out wide. And it's like if you're playing as the striker, the center forward, the focal point, you have to stay central because you're the only one who can really be in the box. And when he scored that goal whenever he scored it recently, scored the header. Was it against Luton? I can't remember.
Preston. It was against Preston.
That was it. Scored the header against Preston. That's what we want to see from him. But we're not seeing him use his body. We're not seeing him use his physicality or his frame or his strength or even the pace he still does have. For me, he's just not utilizing it effectively enough. And because it seems like he's got all the tools. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time to cry because we need to do an emoji. Mine was the shrug because I just was like, I'm used to this now, aren't I?
I've gone with the clock emoji because time's ticking, Pochettino.
Berth?
I got the face with it's got almost like censored across his mouth because I was swearing the other day. I was fuming.
Berth was very unhappy.
He was very unhappy. I can agree there. Lion of the week. Our midweek picks were Madueke, and Nkunku. So we're going to look toward the weekend to come. Fulham are coming to the bridge. Who are we choosing?
Potluck at this point. I want to go Conor Gallagher.
Oh, okay.
No real reason to it. Just going to go Gallagher.
This is why I have the wheel.
I am gonna go with I don't know. I'll give it to Silva.
Silva, and I am going with. We always get a little bit excited, and someone who's injured won't be an injured player. Oh. Okay.
Who is it?
It's Malo Gusto.
All right, that was a good shout. And of course, naturally, Chris chooses Enzo. So,
of course, if you're not here,
yes.
Christmas questions to answer some listener questions this week. S. Gozi has asked, do you think the sporting directors are getting off lightly for the current mess? Why are they not?
I do. Yes, I do. That's simple. Yes, I do.
Yeah, 100%. A lot of people look at the players, and there is some blame to be had there. A lot of people look at the coach, and a lot of people look at the owners as well. But a lot of the major decisions that have been made, especially in recruitment, have been the sporting directors, and simply in terms of like squad planning and all the rest of it, it just doesn't seem like they've done a good job, and they are escaping blame for that.
Yeah. There was another part to the question. Why are they not under pressure, and do we need one experienced director of football?
Yes, we 100% need a director of football. A million, 100 billion, million %. It would help us so much.
I just think the thing is that Todd Bowley is such a polarizing character that everyone's going to get drawn to him. Everyone's going to get drawn to the players. Pochettino, obviously, from Tottenham to Chelsea, people are going to look at him. They almost just get away with it for the simple fact that no one really knows they're there. Well, Chelsea fans obviously do, but the outside world, that no one really picks up on it. They just think, okay, it's the chairman's fault or it's the manager's fault for picking the players. No, the sporting director, the way they've structured it and planned it, it's just we have gone backwards. It's simple as that. So they've just got off scot-free, really.
I did a bit of research here because Winstanley has got a decade of scouting at Brighton. Lawrence Stewart, whose resume includes a 3-year stint as the director at Monaco, following a 2-year tenure as head of scouting under the Red Bull umbrella. So you've got a wealth of experience there. But the question that sort of looms large for me is the decision-making authority, because let's break it down in the intricate kitchen of football. Look, if there's a lot of moving parts and it can disrupt the final product that we get, and I'm wondering who holds the final call, because has ownership overridden the recommendations that the directors have said? Opt-in, obviously.
In which case, why have you hired them?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, opt-in for this influx of all the youth players and long-term deals all at once, or did Winstanley and Stewart just sort of go, yeah, I agree with the youth-centric approach? And if so, does that raise eyebrows given their extensive scouting backgrounds? I mean, the matter hinges on this delicate balance between who sanctioned the departure of all the experienced players and the influx of youth within the squad. And before I judge and put pressure on the directors, I want to understand the dynamics of the decision-making and who gets final say. That's my take on it, really.
Mm.
So,
yeah.
Next question's more of a fun one. Kayla's asked, what is your dream transfer for this January window?
Ooh,
This
that's a
transfer
really good
window.
question. Do you know who I would really like? And maybe people aren't going to like this as an option, because I think there are other positions where we need it more. But I would really like Onana from Everton.
Okay.
I think.
I think
he would give us so much more balance in midfield. He could sit, then Caicedo kind of does the box to box thing, and Enzo goes forward a bit more. It just, for me, that adds a bit more in terms of balance to the midfield, and then that would allow other players to flourish, and maybe people don't get caught out of positions so much. I don't know. For me, I feel like it would really help us.
Okay. Go on.
I've got a bit of a rogue one, but I don't think so. Aaron Ramsdale.
That's fair.
That is a rogue one.
It's rogue.
No,
unfair on Petrovic.
No, it's unfair on Petrovic, but I think I'd take Ramsdale over Sanchez any day of the week.
Yeah,
I think he's fantastic with his feet, and I think he's.
Would you take him over Petrovic though? I'm not sure I would.
At this moment, no.
Yeah, right. Let's be honest though. We've only seen like 2 or 3 games from Petrovic.
Of course. Like,
Edouard Mendy looked unbelievable for half a season. That's not, So
and he was.
But like, well, yeah. I think
so
Aaron
did Ramsdale, to be fair.
Yeah, but I think Aaron Ramsdale is actually a very good keeper. I
think
if anything, is actually underrated. So, and he's a bit of experience, and he is a bit of a twat as well. So, which I think we need. We think we need a bit of nastiness in this team, and I think he's, I think he'd be a good buy.
I mean, remember when I make any player predictions, they never turn out in between. I'll never say one where you're looking back in hindsight and go, "That's not a bad shout." They're either top tier or total fucking disaster. So by that, you might think, well, remember when I said ship N'Golo Kante off to Inter just before he played a key role in us back in that second Champions League? But also recall when I was on the money about Marc Cucurella to Brighton, I declared it was the signing of the summer, predicting him to be their player of the year. Boom. So we don't know how this is going to play out, but my January dream transfer is a player from the Eredivisie. It's Santiago Jimenez from Feyenoord, because
don't hate it.
He's prolific in front of goal. He's been doing it for 2 years now, and I get it. The Dutch league has its tales of triumph and tragedy, but so does the Bundesliga, especially for us. And there's always a risk.
One thing. Yeah, that is the only thing I would say is that going from the Dutch league to the Premier League,
it's huge.
It's more of an issue now than it was even 5 years ago. Like looking at the way like someone like Anthony has come into the Premier.
Yeah, I feel like there's always a risk with whoever you buy.
No doubt.
Always. And what we need right now is a lethal finisher in front of goal. And Jimenez fits that bill. If we pass on this, I kind of feel someone else will scoop him up and we'll just be kicking ourselves
I'll tell you,
do you think he is a better option than someone, say, like that Victor Gyökeres who's at Sporting?
The problem,
or
I love him. I do love him.
or that Garassi from Stuttgart.
Yeah,
who I
he's
think's
good
really
too.
Good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's very good.
I think he's injured at the moment. I did
Well,
see some.
exactly.
He'll fit in perfectly there.
Get him in. Get him in.
I just want to. I'm going to double check.
That sounds like a number 9 for Chelsea to me.
I'm going to double check because I'm pretty sure I heard on a podcast this week he had a bit of an injury. I might be very, very wrong.
It's funny because there are a handful of strikers that have kind of become a bit more available recently and have kind of stepped up a little bit. But it's just interesting to have a think about who actually would work well for Chelsea, because you can't really get anyone who's only just come good in the last 6 months, because that's
I think
what we've just done
Gyökeres
with
is
Jackson
actually
anyway.
a very good shout. I think Gyökeres is a very good shout.
He's a good shout. I like him a lot.
It just says
wonder,
that he missed the recent game due to a thigh injury, so he's a doubt for the opening game in the.
There's an interesting thing on strikers actually at the moment where I don't know if anyone else has seen this. It looks like Newcastle are gonna need, if they want to continue their sort of player trading model that they're doing, and we're trying to do. Apparently, they need to sell one of their best players, one of their 3 of Gimenez, Isak, and Botman. One of the 3 of them. And I was thinking about Isak, and I was thinking about what kind of option he would be.
He'd be a very good option. I'd take Isak any day of the week.
Well, yes,
I really rate him. I think he's very good.
We'll see. We'll see on that. Hey. You know what it's time for?
Come on.
So, Lone Army Carousel, game of categories. I'll give you a category. You've got to give me an answer that fits into it. And if you do take too long, you get the Jason Cundy alarm, which we haven't heard in so long.
Has anyone seen Spurs?
Well,
I love that one.
I've had this sat for a couple of weeks because we've not been able to get to it. And the category was Bye Bowley. Now, it's because I want you to name every player sold, released, or let go by Chelsea under Todd Bowley's ownership. And there are 39 names on here, and it's
39. Jesus.
Yeah, it's not unfair to say this. It's not. Some might say that's a clue you've given away. There's a couple on here I didn't know about. No idea. So, yeah. So we will turn to, you know what? Because it's his game, we'll go straight to birth.
I'm going to go with Callum Hudson-Odoi.
He's on there.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Yes.
What about like loans with obligation? Does that count?
Well, they had eventually left, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Okay.
No, Lewis Hall is not on there, so don't use it.
Kai Havertz.
He's on there.
Mason Mount.
He's on there.
Kovacic.
Yep.
Koulibaly.
Yep.
Mendy.
Yes.
Loftus-Cheek.
Yes.
Pulisic.
Yes.
Aubameyang.
Yes.
Werner.
Yep.
Azpilicueta.
Yep.
Jorginho.
Yep.
Kante.
Yep.
Didn't he technically leave on a free?
Does it? I said that. I said sold, released, or let go.
All right.
And he was released
Billy
officially.
Gilmore.
Yeah.
Bakayoko, I believe, was another 3.
Yeah.
Rudiger.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I had to double check that because I thought,
Ooh.
yeah,
It was really close, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's there. Yeah.
Emerson.
Yes. Just had to
Okay.
double check my list.
Christensen. That was around the same time.
Yes, he's on there.
Marcus Alonso.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not easy now. I'm gonna go with Kennedy,
He's on there.
Mr. Watford himself.
I don't know for Batshuayi.
He's also on there. Oh.
I'm really struggling now.
18 names left. Bloody hell, that's a lot.
Barbara Rahman?
Yes.
Oh my God! Well done, Ollie. Ethan Ampadu.
Yes.
Oh, that's a great one.
Strong game here.
Who else was still playing for us? Is that someone like? Do you know what? I mentioned him in a tweet the other day. Matt Miazga.
Yeah.
Who's the other shit player? Not shit player. That's a bit harsh.
Oh,
couple.
Charlie Musonda.
Yes.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't think I've got any more. I can't think of any more.
Has anyone seen Spurs?
No. Fair play, Berth. Well done.
Oh, Berth's a winner.
Well done.
I will tell you who you missed.
I thought it was a reasonably strong showing, I would say.
My next one was Ross Barkley, and I'm not sure
And
if
he's
that
on there.
counted.
He's on there.
Oh, okay, Ross
fair
Barkley
enough.
counts.
So,
Yeah.
oh my word, these are so ridiculous. There's still players to go. I've never heard of Alex Kapakpi.
We never got that.
No.
Danny Drinkwater.
Oh, did we sell him under
shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Edwin Anderson.
No, wouldn't have got.
George McEachran.
George McEachran.
Yeah, George
Josh's
Nunn.
brother.
Yes, George Nunn. Jake Clark-Salter. Josh
Oh,
Tobin.
yeah, I remember Jake Clark-Salter, yep.
Josh Tobin. Jude Soonsup-Bell. Carlo Zyger. Luke Badley Morgan. Tieno Ballo. Tyler Dibbling and Javier Mbamba.
MB Amber.
Yeah, I'm never good with names. We've established that quite well, haven't we? Yeah, man, can't believe it. 39 people in 2 years. It's just insane.
Wow.
Insane.
Wow.
Hey, we're at the end of another episode, so thank you as always for listening. Treat yourself well. We're going to be back on Monday, discuss those winners and losers from our game against Fulham. Apparently it's the most one-sided fixture in our history that we always beat Fulham, so I can't wait.
Well, that's got Fulham 1-0 written all over it.
Last time.
Come on, everyone beats us now.
No, we beat them. We beat them 2-0, didn't we, at Craven Cottage?
Hang on. 11 versus 11 is going to let me know.
I could have sworn we lost against them
Mudrick
pretty
and Broya.
recently.
Mudrick and Broya, mate.
We won 2-0 in October.
Yeah.
Mudrick and Broya.
Last season, we drew 0-0 in February, lost 2-1 in January.
That's what I'm thinking of.
And then we didn't lose before then till 2006.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was back like we'd lost for the first time to them in ages in the last.
What a
couple of years.
throwback! I clicked that game and they had the goal scorer was Luis Boamorte. Wow!
Wow, what player? What player?
Wow!
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
So till next time, that will be us signing. You've been listening to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for At the Bridge Pod. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leaving us a review is always appreciated.